What if you could revive the past to find answers inside your own mind? Would you do it? In this episode, we are going to look into regression, not as a magic trick and not as something to dismiss with a lazy laugh. We're going to look at it as one of the strangest places where science, memory, emotion, and identity collide, because the promise is almost impossible to ignore. Close your eyes, go back, find the first scene, the first fear, the first wound, the first moment when something in you changed. Most people do not want regression because they are curious about technique. They want it because some part of their life feels like it began before they were old enough to understand it. A reaction that feels too strong. A fear that has no obvious origin. A pattern that repeats no matter how much they swear they are done with it. When life gives you pain without a clear beginning, the mind starts hunting for a scene. Regression offers that scene. A doorway, a room, a younger version of you, a memory that finally seems to say this is where it started. But here's where the science becomes uncomfortable. Memory is not a recording hidden in a vault. It is not a video file waiting to be played back. Each time you remember, your mind rebuilds the scene from fragments. Images, feelings, expectations, stories you have told before, stories other people told you, and what your present self now believes must have happened. That does not mean memory is useless. It means memory is alive. Think about an old family story. Over the years, details become sharper, even when nobody knows where they came from. The weather appears, the exact tone of voice appears, the room becomes brighter. Then one day someone says, "That is not how it happened." We do not only remember the past, we negotiate with it. Regression steps directly into that negotiation. In a typical session, a person is guided into a relaxed, focused state. Their attention narrows, the outside world gets quieter. The guide may ask them to notice sensations, images, emotions, or to let the mind move toward an earlier moment connected to the feeling they are exploring. For some people, images come quickly. A hallway, a smell, a hand on a table, a bedroom window, a face without a name. For others, it is more like an emotion before it becomes a picture. Fear first, then a room. Shame first, then a voice. This can feel incredibly real. The body may react before the person has words. Their chest tightens, their hands shake, they cry without knowing why. And when the scene appears with that much force, it is tempting to believe the force itself is proof. But emotion is not the same thing as accuracy. A dream can make you wake up grieving. A movie can make your body prepare for danger. A sentence from someone you love can reopen something from 10 years ago. The body can respond to meaning, not just to facts. Some recovered memories may connect to real events. Some may be distorted. Some may be partly accurate and partly reconstructed. And some may be built from suggestion, imagination, fear, or the need for an explanation. Science does not give us the comfort of a simple answer. It gives us a warning. A memory can feel vivid and still be wrong. A memory can be incomplete and still point towards something real. A scene can be emotionally true without being historically exact. Researchers have shown how easily memory can be influenced by suggestion. Change the wording of a question and people may remember different details. Add misleading information after an event, and some people absorb it into the memory itself. Ask someone to imagine an event repeatedly, and the imagined scene may begin to feel familiar, then plausible, then remembered. This does not mean people are stupid. It means memory is not built like a camera. It helps you move through life, but it does not promise courtroom-level precision. Now place that inside regression. If a guide says, "Go back to the first time you felt abandoned," the mind may search the archive. But if the archive is incomplete, the mind may also build. It may borrow from photographs, stories, fears, old rooms, family myths, even movies. The person is not lying. They may be sincerely watching something appear inside them. The question is not whether they are honest. The question is whether the process can reliably separate remembering from constructing. And that is where confidence becomes dangerous. Picture someone leaving a session with a memory that explains everything. Why they distrust people, why they panic when someone raises their voice, why they never feel safe in love. For the first time, their life has a plot. Their pain has an origin. Would you want to question that? Most of us would not. Not right away, maybe not ever, because the mind does not only want truth, it wants relief. And sometimes a story gives relief before it gives evidence. This is why responsible clinicians are cautious with regression, especially when the goal is to recover specific factual memories. Hypnosis and guided imagery may have legitimate uses. They may help some people with pain, anxiety, stress, phobias, habits, or emotional processing, but using them as a truth machine is something else entirely. A technique can be useful without being a reliable detector of the past. And here the story turns back toward us. Because even if you never enter a regression session, you participate in this same process all the time. You remember a breakup after years have passed, and suddenly every warning sign seems obvious. You remember a parent's comment, and the tone gets colder each time you tell the story. You remember a friendship ending, and your own mistakes slowly fade to the edge of the frame while the other person's flaws stay in focus. This is not because you are dishonest. It is because remembering is also editing, and sometimes you do it to other people. A friend comes to you confused about their past, and you ask, do you think maybe they were always controlling? Or maybe that is why you are afraid of commitment. You may be trying to help, but even gentle interpretations can become seeds. A person looking for an answer may begin to remember through the shape of the question. So what should we do with regression? Maybe the most honest answer is this: treat it as exploration, not evidence. If a scene appears, do not worship it, and do not immediately throw it away. Ask what it reveals emotionally. Ask why this image, this age, this room, this fear. Ask what your mind may be trying to organize. But when the question becomes factual, when names, timelines, and irreversible decisions enter the picture, emotion is not enough. Corroboration matters. Caution matters. A trained, ethical professional matters. The past deserves tenderness, but it also deserves discipline. Because a false memory can hurt real people, and a real memory can be dismissed too quickly by people who are afraid of what it means. Both errors are human. Both can destroy trust. This is why regression remains so fascinating. It sits in the gray zone where skepticism and compassion have to coexist. Too much skepticism, and you may become cruel to someone whose pain is real. Too much belief, and you may turn imagination into evidence. Either believe everything or believe nothing. Both positions are easier than responsibility. But human memory does not let us live that cleanly. Maybe the deepest question is not, did this exact scene happen exactly this way? Maybe the deeper question is, what happens to a person when the only way they can understand their present is by resurrecting a past they cannot fully verify? That is where regression becomes more than a technique. It becomes a mirror, not a mirror of what definitely happened, a mirror of what still has power. The room that appears may be real, distorted, symbolic, or borrowed, but the emotion that rises is happening now. The body shaking is happening now. The need for an answer is happening now. Regression asks if we can go back and find the beginning. Science asks whether the beginning we find can be trusted. But life asks something even harder. If the past inside you is not a perfect recording, but a living reconstruction, then healing may not begin by believing every image or by rejecting every one. It may begin by learning how to stand in front of your own memory with both compassion and doubt. Because the mind can create stories that trap us. It can also create stories that help us finally speak. And somewhere between those two, a person has to decide what they are willing to call the past. Lucid Order. Question everything.